Hello, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. Ramadan Mubarak. I'm so happy and so excited to be spending part of my Ramadan with you. I hope you can hear it in my voice. For some people, the second fast has begun. And for some of us, the first fast has just ended. So, in some parts of the world, the first fast was Saturday, and in others, it was Sunday. So, inshallah, we can all be together and celebrate and learn and grow and reflect this Ramadan in our space here together online. So we'll start off with our du'as. And I see that Esra is here. Hello, Esra. Assalamu alaikum.
السلام عليكم رمضان مبارك.
Oh, yay! Ramadan Mubarak to you too and your family.
جزاك الله. قالوا سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم.
Exalted are you. We have no knowledge except what you have taught us. Indeed, Ya Allah, indeed, it is you who is the knowing, the wise.
رب زدني علما اللهم إني أسألك علما نافعا.
Ya Rab, increase us all in our knowledge, especially this beautiful month of Ramadan. Help us to grow and learn from the Quran. And Ya Allah, we ask you for knowledge that is of benefit.
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد.
Allah, bestow your favor on Muhammad, peace be upon him, and in the family of Muhammad, as you have bestowed your favor on Ibrahim, alayhi salam, and on the family of Ibrahim. You are praiseworthy, most glorious. Ya Allah, bless Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his family as you have blessed Ibrahim and his family. You are praiseworthy, most glorious.
رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي.
Ya Rab, uplift my heart for me. Uplift all of our hearts for us. Make our task easy and remove the dullness from our tongues so that they may understand me.
اللهم يا مقلب القلوب ثبت قلبي على دينك.
Ya Allah, changer of the hearts, make my heart firm upon your faith, upon your deen.
اللهم اجعل القرآن العظيم ربيع قلوبنا ونور صدورنا وجلاء أحزاننا وذهاب همومنا.
Ya Allah, make the Quran the spring of my heart, the light of my chest, the banisher of my sadness, and the reliever of all my distress. Ameen, Ya Rab. Beautiful dua by the Prophet ﷺ.
رب ارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا.
Ya Rab, have mercy upon my parents as they brought me up when I was small. Jazakallah khair. Thank you so much, Isra. Isra, for the dua. It's really appreciated. My name is Naveen. We start off our sessions with an introduction. My day job is in leadership development and executive coaching, and I would love to hear one or two of you today, maybe just where you're dialing in from and your name, and one thing that you're focusing on for Ramadan. And if you're in a place to unmute, we'd love to hear your voice. If not, you can mention in the chat. Any volunteers? You for all the Ramadan Mubarak messages in the chat. Really appreciate that. Anyone want to share what they're focusing on in Ramadan? Maha, thank you for your message. Can you just redirect that to everybody? And I'll share that here. So Maha has dialed in from the UK, and Maha mentions in the chat that she's focusing on striving as much as possible this Ramadan for the sake of Allah, for the Rada of Allah. Thank you, Maha. Thank you for sharing that.
جزاك الله خير.
Is there maybe someone else who wanted to share what they're focusing on in Ramadan?
I'll say something. Is it okay?
Of course. Thank you.
I am Cecilia. I'm dialing in from Calgary. I think I'm very good at listening and listening with compassion.
Mm,
And the thing I'm focusing on in Ramadan is like do my prayers on time, no
mm,
matter where I am.
mhm, mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cecilia. That's a beautiful, simple goal. And depending on where we're living and what our work schedule is, that's actually, it can be a little bit complex to fulfill that. So I wish you all the best. And thank you for sharing your goal so openly. Much appreciated. And I see a message from Sobi. Sobi is dialing in from the UK as well. And Sobi mentions that she's focusing on tafsir and learning more about the Quran. Thank you for sharing that, Sobi. Is there anyone else who wanted to share their Ramadan focus? Okay, well, the chat box is always there for you to share any thoughts or comments or questions in there. So we have three segments to our session. We do a bit of dua and introductions, then we talk about the topic at hand, which is Ramadan. And inshallah, from tomorrow, we're going to talk about Surah Fatiha, how it's a beautiful dialogue between us and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we'll talk about that probably starting from tomorrow. Typically, we meet every week during the year, but in Ramadan, I think 2 or 3 years ago, based on some feedback from the sisters in the community, there's a request to do daily sessions in Ramadan for whoever can join. And they're a little bit shorter. So typically they're about an hour long, but in Ramadan, they might be between 30 to 45 minutes, likely at the same time. And you're welcome to pop in and out as and when your schedule requires. And the recordings will be uploaded daily. So if you can't make it live, but you would like to listen in, you can access the Google Drive where it is posted daily, inshallah, in Ramadan. And if there are any volunteers who can help us post our recordings on YouTube, it's a little bit easier to access on YouTube. Please message me directly on my WhatsApp number if you have bandwidth to help post on YouTube. So we're going to go into our topic at hand, which is Ramadan, and inshallah, optimizing Ramadan and making this the best Ramadan that we have ever had, inshallah. Sobi, I just saw your message. Inshallah, it will likely be at the same time tomorrow. So for this whole week, it will be at the same time. And if we're going to change timings, it will likely be the following week, or we will message on the Taqwa Trackers group. So thank you for that question. Um, and there I see another introduction from Suad. Suad is calling from Ghana. That's amazing. Welcome, Suad. And Suad is focusing on building her faith this Ramadan. Haven't been the best Muslim. Oh, thank you for being open about that. I think lots of us, um, Lots of us feel that way. We may have had a tough year, or we may have made some mistakes, or we may have been hurt by others, or think we have hurt others. And so, inshallah, Ramadan is a beautiful time to kind of heal, to focus, and be the best version of ourselves, inshallah. So, thank you for sharing that, Suad, and welcome. And I've also received a question. And the question is, yeah, each of us manage it differently, but could you please give some suggestions on how a Muslimah should divide their day and make time for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and do different good deeds or learn something new so we don't waste any time at all this Ramadan? Thank you for that question. And can I think about that a little bit? And I'd love for everyone who's here to give that some thought. How can we do best time management so that each of us feel like we're doing the best that we can, either learning something new or doing different good deeds to optimize Ramadan. So let's think about that for the next few minutes. And then before we wrap up, let's have a quick discussion. And if everyone can share, or some of you can share the suggestions that you have to help manage your calendar, to help manage your day, I'd love to hear from you as well, and I'll share some of my thoughts. So thank you for posing that question. And inshallah, we'll address that before the wrap up of the session today. So going back to Ramadan, this is the month that the Quran was revealed in. And the Prophet ﷺ said, and I'm giving you the mafhum, which is the broad understanding of a hadith, that the one who reads the Quran, who learns it and applies it, is like someone who has used a bottle of mushk, a bottle of beautiful scent. The top is open and the fragrance, the lovely scent, is impacting and affecting all the surroundings. So that's the one who has read the Quran, is reading it, and whatever little they know, they're applying it in their life. And the opposite example is someone who does read the Quran, but who doesn't apply it. They're also a bottle of mushk, a bottle of beautiful scent, but no one knows how beautiful that scent is because it's locked inside. So definitely we want to be like that fragrance or that thing that is beautifying our surroundings, our family, our home, our colleagues, our community. So inshallah, may this month of the Quran, may this Ramadan be a time where we are playing a beautiful role in beautifying our surroundings. So in the last few weeks, we've been talking about what to do before Ramadan. Now we're focusing, inshallah, what we can do during, and then inshallah, what we can do after. So pick one thing. It doesn't have to be a long laundry list. It could be one or two things that you want to do differently. You want to see improve or change in your life. It could be as simple as spend more time with the Quran, but specify it, make it a smart objective, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. So, for example, it could be I'd like to read one paragraph, three ayahs every day, one page every day. In Arabic, if I can read Arabic in the transliteration or the translation. It could be that, for example, I don't say any prayers, or I only say one prayer a day, or I only say one prayer in the week or in the month. I want to increase that. So let's put a number on it. I'd like to do one a day. I'd like to do two a day. If somebody's regular in their five obligatory, maybe they want to add their sunnah. So wherever you are at, it shouldn't be shame. It should be, Ya Allah, wherever I'm at, I want to be better. Please help me be better. And you make your goals specific and attainable, inshallah. And we focus on that in Ramadan. And inshallah, we continue with that after Ramadan as well. So really focus. If you've thought about it already, that's brilliant. If you haven't, we're right still at the beginning of Ramadan, first or second fast. So this is the right time to really focus on what do I want to do differently? And then arrange your calendar and your efforts and your reading and your advice from friends and family or from shayukh. Focus all your efforts on that one or two objectives that you have for yourself. That's one thing that has worked for me, and inshallah, I've heard other people really focus on one or two things, and they're able to see results as well. So remember what Ramadan stands for. Remember Allah, morning, afternoon, day, and night. Sometimes, we're going through a bit of a detox, right? We're trying to watch less TV, less doom scrolling. So whatever we're doing, be mindful, be present in the moment. If you're really tired, you've picked up your phone, and you can't do any more work, and you're tempted to scroll on your platform of choice, YouTube, TikTok, Insta, whatever it is, um, think about just closing your eyes and resting for a moment, listening to a nice recitation. Maybe if you're into food, looking up a different recipe for yourself or your family, looking up a tip, a Ramadan tip online. So, as much as possible, I would say if you're able to, limit your time with your devices. Of course, if you have to go to work and, that's different. But like I said, whatever is possible for you to minimize time with your devices, that's going to create the space to maximize our time with Allah. Allah is so close to us. He's coming down every night to the lowest heavens, and the last 10 days of Ramadan, He's even closer. So, what are we doing to maximize our time with Allah, to grow our relationship with Allah? This really is a time to recharge our Iman. Like one of the sisters mentioned in her introduction, maybe the year has not been so positive. Maybe the last few months, the last 12 months have been really challenging. This is the time that we get to recharge ourselves truly, spiritually, physically, and emotionally. And the fast, the Sawm, is to fast from everything, not just food and drink, but to fast from everything that keeps me away from Allah. Say if it's too much reading, if it's too much scrolling, if it's too much, spending time with a friend or a family member that's not related to Allah, the time is not linked to remembering Allah, then everything that's keeping me away from Him, what can I do to minimize that? How can I make myself more self-aware and put a time on it? If I'm spending an hour on it, maybe I spend half an hour. And then the next day I spend 25 minutes, and the next day I spend 20 minutes. So make it bite size for yourself. Track your progress. Think about your progress. Oh, yesterday I did that. Today I'm a little bit better, even if it's 1% better. Feel good about it. Feel good about the changes we're making. And remember that the shayateen are chained. Satan is chained. So what we're dealing with now is not shaitan, but just our ego, just our nafs. So it's easier, inshallah. Ramadan makes it easier for us to be the best version of ourselves. And what also helps is starve your distractions, lock away the devices as much as you can in another room, inside a closet for like half an hour, you know, go through the detox. Um, so starve your distractions, and that helps to feed your focus, inshallah. And also, it helps to remind ourselves that whatever I'm doing, so these are all linked to the time management tips that the sister asked in the beginning of the session is how can I really help manage my day? So motivation really helps us to focus as well. And part of the motivation is if I smile at somebody, if I gave $1, £1 in charity, Allah is multiplying it at least by 70. If I read one line, one ayah of the Quran in Arabic or in translation, I'm going to get the reward at least 70 times more. So that can help us to focus. And when we're tempted to do things that are not bringing us close to Allah, maybe that reminder can be helpful to us. Another tip is to follow the Sunnah. Find out more about the one who's most beloved to us, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So what do I know about his life? How much do I know about him? How intimately do I know challenges and how he overcame them, the advice and the tips that he's given us? And maybe we can make it a practice to learn a little bit more about his sunnah and implement that in our life in Ramadan. Do you have a dua list already? That could be one of your tasks. If you don't have one, make one today, tomorrow, the next day, like write it down. And whenever you feel like you have some time at the end of your salah, maybe at Fajr or before Sahur or before Iftar. These are masnoon times, these are known times for the acceptance of dua. So, who do you want to make dua for? Yourself, your family, your ummah, different communities around the world, the youth, our akhirah, meeting in Jannah. Make your dua list and then use it every day, inshallah. And whatever you do, we shouldn't be like this little wind up toy that we have over here. We want the effect of that to last. And what helps with that, again, is some very practical advice that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us through Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that advice is do things continuously. Allah loves those deeds. The most beloved deeds to Allah are those which are done consistently, even if they are small. Let me see if I can remove the annotations. So, if you can't, for example, do $10 every day in charity, do $1, do 10 cents. If you can't do 20 rakah extra every day, do 2 rakah every day. If you can't smile at 10 people every day, smile at one person every day. If you can't give 1 hour of volunteering in any capacity every day, give 10 minutes in volunteering. If you can't call 5 relatives, call 1 relative. So whatever you're choosing to do, whatever good deed you are picking on for your life, you're picking up, do it in a volume, in a consistency that you can manage. You can continue for the next 11 months until the next Ramadan, inshallah. That should be the niyyah. Think big, dream big, and keep it consistent to yourself. We want to keep it consistent and alive. It's like a plant. Water this plant, give it some fertilizer, give it some TLC, some tender loving care every day for the next 11 months until the next Ramadan. So whatever you're picking, pick it in a way so that you can continue, inshallah, consistently, because those are the deeds that are most beloved to Allah. Purify your niyyah. The best niyyah that we can have is, oh, I'm giving this $1. I'm making this one meal. I'm smiling at this one person, even though I feel so irritated right now. I'm still smiling for Allah. I'm not doing it for me, for my family member, for my community. I'm actually doing this for Allah, for His rada, for my relationship with Him. So every day, every afternoon, every morning, every evening, we're asking ourselves, what's the best that I can do? Not, oh, what should I do today? No. What is the very best that I can do? You know how they say if you aim for the stars, you'll fall on the moon, right? So have a good stretch target for yourself and then have a backup plan. The days that you're really tired, what is the minimum that you can do that still keeps you on track? So remember that the more we give, the more we get. Ramadan is the month of the giver. So whether it's giving in charity to other people or giving to our relationship with Allah through adhkar, through dhikr, salah, etc. So whatever we're doing, this is a month of giving. So plan how you want to give your sadaqah. Plan how you want to give of your time, mentoring, buddying, volunteering somewhere, giving iftar to someone, interacting with your neighbors, discussing Ramadan with them, with Muslims and non-Muslims. You can do sadaqah for people. Some people have a sadaqah box. Maybe they can't give their money every single day to somebody, but collect it in a box, and whenever you have a chance, in 3 or 4 days or on the weekend, then you collected it every day in your box and you're giving it away at the end of the day. So that way you're maintaining that rhythm of what Allah says. Do it consistently, do it continuously. So whatever you're giving, financially, your skills, your time, your knowledge, try to be as consistent in it as we can, inshallah, in Ramadan. Block off a time for that every day. So people do tend to give zakah in Ramadan as well. Do save a little bit for the rest of the year because there's often calamities or hardships that pop up during the year as well. So don't forget the rest of the year to be a support to other people as well. And that can be given as sadaqah, or you can also save part of your zakah for the rest of the year also. So why? Why do we want to be so charitable in Ramadan? The Prophet ﷺ was most generous. He was generous throughout the year, but he was most generous in Ramadan, especially after Jibreel alayhi salam, the angel, reviewed the Quran with our beloved Prophet ﷺ. And he was more generous than a blowing wind. So why the example? Why the analogy of the blowing wind? Because what does the wind do? Does it ask, this tree, this plant, do you need water? Do you need the seed? Do you need this moisture? Wherever the wind blows, it just gives to everyone and everything in its path. It doesn't question, it doesn't ask, it doesn't rationalize, it does what it can. So charity in this month bears fruit and flowers for the rest of our life. And most importantly, for our forever life in Jannah. This life is what? 20 years? 50? 100? 110? It's not going to be more than that. But what about our forever life when we'll be reunited with the ones we love and where we will never have a moment of sadness? We will never have a moment of loneliness. We will never have a moment of ill health. That's what Ramadan is preparing for us. We're focusing on Allah's rada, His pleasure, so that we can bask in His pleasure forever in Jannah, inshallah. Forever is a long time. This world is so temporary. It's like we're just stopping at the gas station, at the gas pump to refuel our car, and then we're moving on. The rest of the journey is Jannah, inshallah. So Ramadan is a month of giving, and giving takes many forms. Generosity takes many forms. We are the givers. There was an example of a lady who would never refuse any request in Ramadan. And don't worry, for example, even when you're driving, even when you're on the road, if somebody doesn't give you a right of way, they didn't stop at a stop sign, it's okay, let it be. This is also a way of giving. We can cook for the poor, we can distribute it randomly, we can, give iftar at traffic lights. So give of your time, give of your effort. And another way of giving is what? Forgiving. So pardon people, excuse them, make good excuses for them, have a positive guman, have a positive feeling and a view about them. Oh, they're late. Oh, maybe they're sick. Maybe, they forgot. It's okay. Let it be. Forgive. This is actually a beautiful form of generosity, is to really sincerely be able to forgive someone who we feel slighted by, who has wronged us, who has hurt us in some way. The hurt is still there, but we can forgive. Also, connecting with people, especially our family and our relatives, reaching out to them is sila rahmi, is we're fulfilling the rights of our family. Even, I think most families, if not all, there's those relationships that are kind of suffering. They're a little bit bitter or painful. They don't reciprocate the way that we reach out to them. It's okay. So even those who are not so positive with us, can I be positive with them? That's a beautiful form of generosity as well. If we have a sense or if we know that we have hurt someone, reach out to them, even if it feels awkward, even if it feels weird or strange. Maybe it's been years, maybe it's been months. Reach out and say, hey, Ramadan is here, and I'm really focusing on a few objectives. And I know that we've had a rough time in the past, or I've hurt your feelings, and I'd just like to reach out and ask for your forgiveness. If you can find it in your heart this Ramadan to forgive me, I would be so grateful. So send them a message, a voice note, a written message, phone call, email, whatever is comfortable for you or least awkward for you, reach out, ask for forgiveness. It makes us light, and it may help to make the other person light. And if they don't respond, again, the answer for many things this month can be, it's okay, let it be. They didn't answer, it's okay. They answered and forgave you, that's wonderful. They answered and they were kind of mean, it's okay. So, whatever the outcome is, you did your part. I am responsible for my role. How can I forgive? How can I ask for forgiveness? Whether they do or they don't, that's on them. My role is, what did I do? I know for the folks in the UK, it's iftar time. So feel free to, for any of our sessions, pop in and pop out as you like. So thank you for your private messages that you have to log off. No worries at all. And taqabbal Allah for your song as well. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the 3 levels of fasting. For some of you, you just completed your first fast. For some of you, you are starting your second fast. Inshallah, may all of them be accepted and smoothly and easily. So maybe we can think of Ramadan as a basket or a shopping cart. We're filling it with as many good deeds as we can so that we have an overflowing shopping cart, we have an overflowing basket at the end of the month. And we're making dua that we reach the highest levels in Ramadan. And we're making dua for barakah in our time. Barakah is this amazingly beautiful concept that it multiplies. I feel like I can do 3 things in this 1 hour, but I end up doing 7. Oh my goodness, how did that happen? I made a meal for 7 people, and 5 other people showed up, and there was plenty to go around and leftovers. My goodness, how did that happen? That's barakah. I thought I could only, help 2 people today. I actually ended up helping 7 people today. Wow, that's barakah. So Allah kind of, with His rahmah, with His magic, Allah puts so much bounty into whatever little we have. And we as human beings, um, Allah's treasures are abundant. And what He can give to us from those miracles, from that treasure chest, um, is limitless. Sometimes it's only our mind, it's our mindset that limits us. We can do so much. They say even about Einstein that, who was a genius and invented so many principles in physics and other things that that he also only used 2 to 3% of his brain. So we are so full of potential. We have so much to give. Let us not be limited by our own expectations or how others view us. And we can pray for Allah's barakah and for Allah's afiyah to make that come to fruition, inshallah, in our lifetime. So ihsan is this concept of excellence in everything we do. And it applies to our spirituality, it applies to our good deeds, it applies to everything in life. So how does ihsan or excellence link to fasting? There are 3 levels of fasting that we'll discuss in a moment. So what is my view about myself? What is your view about yourself? How do we think about ourselves? However we think about it, that's what determines my niyyah and how pure my niyyah is. How I spend the month of Ramadan. We're able to understand this through Imam Ghazali, rahimahullah, classical scholar. He explained 3 degrees of the 3 levels of fasting. So we're striving for the highest level, excellence, ihsan. So what's the first level? The first level is called fasting of the masses, which is Sawm al-Umum in Arabic. So this is the basic level of fasting, okay, where we are restraining from our physical desires, drinking, eating, we're sleeping less in this month. For a lot of people, it's not the food or the drink, it's the lack of sleep that's the hardest. So physically, we're restraining ourselves. In normal days, all of these things are permissible, right? Eating is permissible, drinking is permissible, sleeping is permissible. We are restraining ourselves. So this physical discipline to control our desires, what does this do? It helps us to grow spiritually. It makes us brighter and lighter and more amazing. So this is the basic level of fasting where we are restraining ourselves from physical desires. So the next level, so this is the basic level of fasting. The next level up, the higher level from this is called fasting of the select, fasting of the special group, not fasting of the masses. And this is called Sawm al-Khusus. Okay, so Sawm al-Umum was the first one. Sawm al-Khusus is a higher level than the basic. And what does this entail? This is the spiritual fast of the Salihin, the righteous. So, what are we restraining ourselves from? In addition to the physical desires, we are restraining ourselves in our hearing, in our sight, what our tongues say, what our hands, feet, and other parts of our body are doing, from everything which is displeasing to Allah. So, this in turn indicates, it shows, it demonstrates a higher level of taqwa. Remember, our group is called Taqwa Trackers. So we're more aware of the presence of Allah. Before I say something kind of mean or nasty, I'm like, oh, I'm in the presence of Allah. Let me hold myself back. Before I start doom scrolling, in the middle of the night or in the morning, I'm really tired, can't do anything else. I'm like, oh, no, I'm in the presence of Allah. I'm mindful. I only have 29 days in Ramadan. I'm mindful of Allah. This is a higher level of taqwa. So, in the basic level, we have succeeded in stopping ourselves from that which is permissible. And now we are focused on abstaining from committing any sins. So, this fulfills the condition of that hadith, which says that if you're just leaving food and drink, it's useless. If we're not restraining from foul speech, if we're acting on our base desires, then it doesn't matter if you're stopping yourself from eating and drinking. We have to go higher than that. So I really like this picture on the left. The heart, the qalb, is the center, the heart center, right? So our heart is controlling what our tongues are saying, what our ears are listening to, what our eyes are seeing on our phones or in the world, what our hands are doing. Our private parts, how are we protecting that? Our stomach, are we gorging ourselves at suhoor and iftar? Are we insecure about how hungry we'll be? And our feet taking us to good places, to good gatherings, to the masjid, to help other people. So the heart is managing and helping us navigate all of this. So that's why in the beginning of all of our sessions, we have that dua. Ya Allah, keep my heart steadfast on your path. Don't turn it away from you, especially once I found you. And so, drum roll, please. This brings us to the third level of fasting, which is the fasting of the special within the special, the select within the select. So the first basic level was the Sawm al-Umum, fasting of the masses. Second one was fasting of the select. Third one is fasting of the select within the select. Sawm al-Khusus al-Khusus. Okay, that's the highest level of fasting. So this level of fasting is attained by the select few, and it incorporates a true level of ihsan, of excellence. This involves fasting of the heart from lowly thoughts, from lowly feelings. We are fasting in the heart from too many concerns of this world, too many thoughts of this world. Focus too much on what's happening tomorrow, what's happening at work, what about my kid's school, what's going to happen at Eid, what do I need to do for gift giving? Like, we're not concerned too much with this world. We're concerned more with our akhirah. So we're fasting our heart in our hearts from thinking too much about things of this temporary world. And any thoughts that are not directly connected with Allah, we are fasting from that as well. So this is a true fasting of the ruh, not just our body, but our soul, the ruh. We're completely focused. The special within the special, the khusus within the khusus, they are completely focused on Allah's pleasure on the hereafter. So, like salah, to attain khushu, to attain pure focus without distraction, we're removing things from our life. We're removing, keeping the phone away from ourselves. Maybe we have to close the door to remove noises. Maybe we put on some ambient noise to help us focus. So we're guarding both the external and the internal elements. So we're conquering our thoughts. We're trying to keep away negative thoughts because negative thoughts will translate into negative emotions, negative actions. So we're trying our best. And sometimes they pop up, right? A negative thought will pop up. So then be aware of that and say, Ya Allah, please help me. Please help me not to think negative thoughts this month at least. And so if you think of a negative thought, acknowledge it, accept it, and then think of a positive thing. Oh, Allah loves me so much. Oh, Allah, forgive me for that. Oh, Allah, you are beautiful. Make me beautiful. Oh, Allah, make this the best Ramadan I've had. So whatever negative thought you've had, immediately try to counter it with three. And this is, by the way, a trick in psychology. So every time you have a negative thought, counter it with three positive thoughts. And that way you are training your mind, you're training your brain to, because the brain will get tired. Every time you think of a negative thought, oh my God, I'm so tired. Now you have to think of three positive things. Okay, I'm tired, but have good eyesight. But it's a beautiful day outside today. And oh my goodness, I met my target of reading one page of the Quran. So, whatever, it could be three random thoughts, but three random positive thoughts. So, every time you think of one negative, think of three positive. And so your brain will be like, oh, stop. Don't think the negative thought because then you're going to have to do the extra work of thinking of three positive thoughts. So, this is something that is that I found helpful. So feel those feelings which bring us closer to Allah. Think of His beauty. Think of His rahmah. Think of His mercy. Think of His love. And this helps us to purify our niyyah, our intention. Remember that pyramid of the niyyah? The highest and the best niyyah is, Ya Allah, I'm doing this for your rada. I'm doing this for your pleasure. Prophet ﷺ asked in his dua, do not let the world become my greatest concern. How often do we do that? The world is our biggest concern, whether it's a job or education or kids or a house, the car, family, relatives, friends, colleagues. It's all part of the dunya. And there's this other thought-provoking quote. The dunya, this world, is like salt water. It doesn't quench anything. So whenever we increase in drinking salt water, it only increases our thirst. So don't chase the dunya. Chase the akhirah, and the dunya falls into place. So we're still talking about the Sawm, the fast, the special within the special, Sawm al-Khusus al-Khusus. So worldly thoughts are not sinful. I mean, we are made to live in this world. We have to live in this world. We have to survive. We have to thrive. We have to help others thrive. So worldly thoughts are not necessarily sinful, but our focus should be on the akhirah. Where is the bulk of my energy going? Is it going, have I spent like 8 hours, planning for a party or project at work, and I'm too exhausted to even spend 5 minutes, to even spend 1 hour? And honestly, I'm guilty of that sometimes. I have pressure at work, I have a deadline at work, and I've spent like gobs of time on that. And then I'm drained, and I'm not giving my best in Ramadan. So my dua in Ramadan is, Ya Allah, let the best of my hours, let the best of my time be given to you. and not to, whatever is distracting me from you, whether it's work or other things. They're not bad things. We need to do those things. We are responsible for those things. But let me do it in balance. Let me do it in balance. And let my focus be on you. Let my focus be on the akhirah. So that we perform our good deeds, whatever we're doing, with the niyyah to seek the pleasure of Allah. We make du'as for our loved ones. We make du'as for our eternal life. Our focus should be there on our forever life, not our temporary life, not the pit stop. This is the pit stop. And don't let our temporary thoughts become settled thoughts, okay? Because that will take us away from doing the good that is truly meaningful. And inshallah, if we can train ourselves in these 30 days, this habit formation happens between 20 to 30 days. So Ramadan is like magic when it comes to habit formation. So let this become a routine, a regimen for our life, the thoughts that we are focusing on, positive thoughts. Also spend time in getting to know ourselves a little bit more. Do some self-analysis. What helps me to control my thoughts? What helps me to achieve ihsan in Ramadan? Follow our stream of consciousness. Think a little bit about, where did that thought come from? Is that really my voice? Or is that somebody else's voice in my head? A colleague's voice in my head, a spouse's voice, a parent's voice, a child's voice. Where is that thought coming from? Why do I feel this way? What was I really thinking before that? Why am I feeling so distracted right now? Why am I feeling so restless right now? What triggered this memory? What triggered this feeling? So spend some time in introspecting and analyzing, understanding yourself, and do it from a place of love, not from a place of harshness. There's enough people out there in the world to criticize and be harsh with us. Yes, we should be open to feedback, but remember, Allah loves us. So we have to love ourselves also. Yes, we're on a path. What's important is, am I on a path of continuous improvement? Is my night today going to be better than my morning today? Is tomorrow morning going to be better than tonight? Am I on a path of continuous improvement? Was my salah today better than yesterday? How can I make my salah tomorrow better than today? And remember, 1%. Somebody remind me there's this beautiful graph that if every day you were just to increase or improve by 1%, by the end of the year, it's something ridiculous like 200 or 300% improvement. So who doesn't want that? But if I try to take a big bite of 300% improvement today, it's not going to happen. But even if I take a small, teeny weeny bit of an improvement today, inshallah, every day if I do that, remember consistency. Allah loves consistency. And inshallah, by the end of the year, we'll be unrecognizably good. And think about my precious time, my shopping cart, my big basket that I want to fill up with good deeds, my bank account, akhirah that I want to fill up with good deeds. Where am I spending my time? How am I spending my time? And I thought I'd share this with you from one of the shuyukh. The golden rule to remember when fasting is, don't make my fasting days and my non-fasting days the same. Ramadan should be recognizably different. So if I'm thinking that, my eating and drinking, stopping from that is making this special, no, that's not different. That just means you're hungry and thirsty. By different, it means that I am showing up in my life in a superior way. I'm expressing my values in a different way possible, in a way that pleases Allah. So I'm giving more in charity, I'm praying more, I'm helping more, I'm reading more, I'm doing more, I'm more patient, I waste time less, I get angry less. Oh, I'm just thinking today I got a little angry. Alhamdulillah, didn't last very long, but this is a good reminder for me as well. And the whole point of achieving taqwa, more mindful that I'm in the presence of Allah, is by developing a moral discipline. and being patient. This is the objective of fasting. So I thought I'd share that with you. Okay, so that was the 3 levels of fasting. But today we're taking a full hour, A, because it's Sunday, and B, I wanted to, complete this topic if that's okay. But like we've said earlier, you're welcome to pop in and out at any time. You don't have to stay for the whole session. And the recordings are also available. So remember consistency. So, what can we expect our body to go through as we start fasting? So, during the first few days of fasting, the blood sugar level in general is dropping, and our blood pressure might also drop. So, the body is beginning to start the cleansing process. It's detoxing. So, the first few days, for those of us who are fasting, are actually very hard. And this has come up before that sometimes people feel really guilty or sad that they're not able to fast for a variety of reasons. So don't, though the condition which is preventing you from fasting, where did it come from? Nothing happens without Allah's permission. So don't feel guilty if you're not able to fast. There's lots of other things that you can do. We've mentioned that before, and I will mention that again. But for those of us who are able to fast, the first few days are tough as a detox is happening. So for some people, it looks like headaches or dizziness or nausea or like really super hungry, hangry, and cranky, that sign outside our rooms like, don't disturb me. I'm like super hangry. I'm super cranky. But inshallah, that's just for a little bit. For some people, they don't feel all of this. So that's stage 1. Stage 2 is our body becomes accustomed to fasting, to this new schedule, and the digestive system is able to rest. And how is it able to rest? If we don't gorge ourselves at suhoor and iftar, at the pre-dawn breakfast, and at the evening opening, eat healthy foods. Most cultures have some variety of unhealthy foods as well. So moderation, be kind to your body. So the digestive system begins to focus its energy on cleansing the entire body. They call the gut the second brain of the body. So healing of our cells is accelerating. Our blood cells start becoming more active. So there's a whole miracle that's happening in our body when we're able to fast. Our organs begin to repair. There's a whole repair process that's accelerated. So all of this is happening when we're fasting, inshallah. Our energy levels will increase. I mean, after the first dip, you'll actually most people feel a burst of energy because we're not focusing so much on food or the kitchen or thinking about it, and we can channel our energy in a different way. Soon our mind is able to concentrate better. Um, and an overall feeling of wellness overtakes us. So again, it will look different for different people. For some people, the original kind, the stage 1 of being hangry and feeling weak and all those things might last a week. For other people, a day. Some people may not feel it at all. So each one of us is a little bit different. So we're just giving kind of a general journey here. So the healing process is becoming more efficient. This is stage 3. And all our organs, the colon, the liver, the kidney, lungs, they're all detoxing, but eliminating toxins. And that's why it's really important to stay hydrated because the water then is flushing out all of these toxins when we're able to drink between sunset and sunrise. Drink as much water as you can. But remember, we're not camels. I saw my sister shared a meme with me that don't try to drink like 5 glasses of water 5 minutes before um, uh, dawn because you're not a camel. You're not going to be able to store all of it. But yeah, keep yourself hydrated throughout the eating and drinking hours. And then stage 4 typically is the last 10 days of fasting. Sorry, I'm trying to drink at the same time because my voice is getting kind of dry. My throat is getting dry. So the last 10 days of fasting, the body has become accustomed to the fasting process. Again, there's more energy. You might even experience better memory, better concentration. I have to say today, alhamdulillah, I felt really focused after a very, very long time. I'm really grateful for the fast. The organs now by this time are finishing up their detoxing and their healing process, and the body is able to function at an optimal level now. And it may not have felt so optimal in months, maybe even in years. So this biological journey I've just shared a little bit with you shows the amazing physical benefits of fasting. And of course, the spiritual benefits of Ramadan are even more incredible. They're far greater than anything on the physical realm. But inshallah, we're feeling both of them. So nutrition, a little bit of on nutrition, eat light whenever possible, eat less whenever possible. Um, yeah, and if we're able to stay hungry during the day, stay up during the night, we will see and we will hear wonderful things from Allah. And eating light helps us to do that. So some good things to eat are water, dates, fruits, vegetable, brown carbs, protein, eggs, oats, smoothies, coconut water. The not so good stuff is high salt foods. They make us thirsty. Fried foods also make us thirsty and kind of lethargic. Very sugary drinks are no good. Processed foods and white foods, bread, white rice, white pasta, and then tea, coffee. Some people, of course, do have their caffeine withdrawal. So, manage however you can. But if you can reduce the caffeine intake, it will help you with your hydration. Oh, and of course, most of us can benefit from a tech diet, meaning diet from the technology in our lives, less distractions, limit our access however we can. So, these are two very super special meals in the day, suhoor and iftar. So whatever we can do to eat healthy, that will be wonderful. Water, oatmeal, eggs we talked about, and avoiding the really heavy, rich foods. So at iftar, this is an important exercise in self-control, especially in the first 10 to 15 minutes. So what really helps with that is uh, opening the fast with something really small, like a date or 2 or 3 dates, a glass of water, juice if you can, or something super light, like a few bites of fruit, and then going for salah. So just basically opening the fast with 1 or 2 bites, sip of water, glass of water, and then going for your salah, um, reading Quran if you like, and then coming back to eat. Because the body has then registered, okay, I have my date, I have some water, and then you're taking a break for your salah. And then when you come back to eat, it's easier to exercise self-control. Also eat slowly. One doctor told me, chew 30 times. My goodness, how do you chew 30 times? But anyway, that helps to digest and it helps to reduce the consumption of food. And it gives our digestive system time to activate. So dua a few minutes before the opening of the fast, then say the dua for opening the fast, have some dates or water, pray your salah, have a light meal or a snack, and then have another snack after Taraweeh. So you're not bloated. For those of you who are going for Taraweeh or doing it at home, don't eat too much before Taraweeh because that makes us really lethargic typically. Eat in small plates, have your protein, your vegetables, your brown rice, etc. So we will pause there, inshallah. We've taken an hour today. And I'd like to ask some of you, there was a question in the beginning on time management. How do we manage our day to maximize what we can achieve in Ramadan? There was a sister who had asked a question on time management, one of the sisters from the UK. So, do we have any thoughts? What do you do to manage your time during Ramadan? Do you have any tips that work for you? Or you observed a friend or a family member who does their time management really well? We said we would save some time at the end to answer that question. Does anyone have any tips? You can unmute yourself if you like, or you can mention in the chat box. Would love to hear from you. Any thoughts on time management in Ramadan?
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
Just a quick thing. I think the best way to do it, even though if you're doing your daily chores, cleaning the kitchen, make sure you keep doing your azkar. So even if you are, accomplishing your worldly life and accomplishing your house chores, your tongue is still, uh, busy performing the zikrs and azkars.
Lovely. Thank you, Nazia. Thank you for sharing that. That's a great tip. So if you're doing repetitive things, chores, driving, household tasks, even sometimes at work, you're writing an email or doing something where you can keep your tongue busy. So let's keep our tongue busy and be mindful of that. That's a great idea. Thank you, Nazia. I see a message from Saima in the chat. Thank you, Saima. Saima says, be prepared, do some preparation and plan ahead and prioritize. Saima says, prioritize. We're not going to get this time back. Absolutely. Thank you, Saima. Does anyone else have any tips they want to add? Feel free to unmute yourself. It's always nice to hear your voice. Okay, while you're thinking, there is a message from Yuki. Thank you, Yuki. Yuki says, think about the three. Oh, I'll come back to that. Anjum, Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum assalam. One thing that I have understood for Ramadan is that we need to minimize all those acts which are not really needed, like socializing, minimize it to the minimum level. That would really, especially the social media and work like that, that would really give us a lot of time for Ramadan and dedicate to the most important things or the necessities that we need to do. That's it. And leave the rest for after Ramadan.
Beautiful. Very practical advice. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So another tip on, cutting things out. Think about, I'm just reminded of the kalima. How do we become Muslim? We say La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. So the first word of the kalima is La. It's a negation. It's a removal. So in order to make space for the important things, what can I remove? Is there extra socialization that I can remove? Is there social media that I can remove? That's a great tip from Anjab Mamijan. Thank you for that tip. Anyone else would
Jazakallah
like?
khair. And
But
thank
yeah,
you for your thank you.
Jazakallah to you for sharing that. Anyone else? Would anyone else like to share what works for them and what they have seen work for other people in terms of time management? Yuki mentions the 3D. Yuki says, do it, delegate it, or dump it or delete it. I love that. That's a great framework, the 3D. Do, delegate, dump. And again, the same theme, learn to say no to something. To say yes to what's important while also learn to ask for help or support. Very true. And generally speaking, there's a gender difference. Women sometimes tend less to ask for help, to ask for support. Oh, I'm superwoman. I can do this. I can squeeze it in. I can do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. No, Ramadan is for focus. Ramadan is for reducing. Ramadan is for the best use of our time. We have to make space. Thank you, Yuki. That's a very practical tip. Jazakallah khair. Amira says, and I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing any of your names. Amira sent a message, that she organizes her day around prayer times. So between Fajr and Shuruq, you can dedicate that time for Quran recitation. So carve out your day in blocks of time around the 5 pillars. Fajr, Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, and Isha and Taraweeh. So organize your day around that. Great tip, Amira. Thank you. Jazakallah khair. And Sumaya mentions, I like the tech social media more than food. Okay. So how do we prioritize and make time for things that are important for us? Thank you, Sumaya. And Esra says, take lessons from the Quran. Even if there is no time to read, make time to read and adhkar. Make time for adhkar, for tasbih, and make time for charity. Thank you, Esra. Jazakallah khair. And Saima says, my son said today, focus on deen, not on food. I love that. Yes. Sometimes Ramadan is like the complete opposite effect. People are like preparing like 5, 10, like so many dishes and elaborate things that's taking up so much of our time, whether it's shopping or marinating or baking or frying. And that's a great reminder from your son. Please tell him thank you from us. Focus on deen, not on food. Thank you. Sumaya says, less dunya and more akhirah. Focus on detox and detox from social media. Wonderful tips, everybody. Jazakallah khair. And Zamzam mentions, listen to the Quran while doing chores. Excellent, excellent. Oh, thank you, Tala. Thank you for your comment. I'm glad you found it useful. And I think also just ask Allah, like we said in the beginning, barakah. Ask Allah, Ya Allah, please put immense barakah in my time. Make this my best Ramadan ever. Send me more openings in my time than I ever could have imagined. If my target today was to read one ayah, to read one page, maybe I read 7 ayahs instead. Maybe I read 5 pages instead of 1 pages. So Ya Allah, give it to me. Ask Allah. Make dua to Allah that Allah, I really want to focus this Ramadan. I want to achieve more than I ever have for your rada, not for any other purpose than to be closer to you. And when I'm closer to you, I feel that peace. I feel that love. I feel that contentment. I feel light. Um, so to ask Allah, wherever we're struggling, make dua and talk to people who you trust. Reach out to someone who you trust, ask them for their ideas. But number one is ask Allah for that. And Sumaya mentions, listen to scholars when cooking or listen to the Quran when you're doing your other chores and participate with your Zoom lectures. Oh, thank you, Sumaya. Wonderful. So we went a little bit over today because we had a few topics to cover. Inshallah, we will continue, with Allah's permission, we will continue to meet every day. You're welcome to pop in whenever your schedule allows, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or the whole session, whatever works for your schedule. And I'm excited to spend my Ramadan with you. We're not in the same room. We're together, in heart and in spirit. So Jazakallah khair for that. We'll wrap up with our du'as. We'll meet again at the same time tomorrow. Would anybody like to do a du'a in Arabic or English? Esra,
إن شاء
thank you.
الله.
Yeah, please go ahead.
اللهم إني أسألك الثبات في الأمر والعزيمة على الرشد وأسألك شكر نعمتك وحسن عبادتك ونسألك قلبا سليما ولسانا صادقا ونسألك من خير ما تعلم ونعوذ بك من شر ما تعلم ونستغفرك لما تعلم إنك أنت علام الغيوب. O Allah, I seek you for steadfastness in the matter and determination upon guidance. I ask you for gratitude for your blessing and excellence in worshipping you. I ask you for a truthful tongue and a sound heart. I ask you for the best of what you know, and I seek refuge in you from the worst of what you know, and I seek your forgiveness for what you know. Indeed, you alone are the knower of the unseen. Amen.
Ameen. Thank you, Esra. Jazakallah khair. Ya Allah, please reward everybody who was here in this session, those who were not able to make it, listening to the recording, and everyone, Ya Allah, who's striving to know you more, to understand you more, everyone who is striving to come closer to you and to feel that halawa, that sweetness in faith. Ya Allah, make this Ramadan our best Ramadan ever. Ya Allah, cleanse us from all our sins, because we have made mistakes. We show up at your doorstep broken, our hearts blackened sometimes. Ya Allah, only you can help us detox. Only you can help us lighten our load. Only you can take us back from the edge of desperation. Ya Allah, allow us to be so close to you, to feel your presence every moment. You are closer than the vein in our neck. Allow us to really reflect on that and to feel your safety and comfort, and that you are carrying us, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, this Ramadan, allow us to stay up at night and during the day remember you, Ya Allah. Remember you and feel close to you. And in our du'as, Ya Allah, allow us to remember everyone who is suffering, everyone who is hurting physically, in war-torn places, with hunger, with cruelty, with oppression, with bad personal relationships, financial misery. Ya Allah, we remember all of those in our dua. Ya Allah Ta'ala, bless us with your love and your mercy and your light. Ameen, Ya Rab. Thank you, everybody. Inshallah, we'll see you again in 23 hours. Thank you for all the messages, Nazra Baji. Thank you for your comment. Really appreciate that you found this encouraging. Thank you, Samina, and Samaya, and Saima, Kiran. So many lovely messages. Thank you.